Hello there, and welcome to Midland Earth. Today I'm joined by my fellow Midland Earthers, JJ and Lewis, and we are going to discuss the recent Jurassic World entry, Jurassic World Rebirth. This is a full review, so it's going to be spoilerific. So the first bit's just going to be our general thoughts, which is going to be spoiler free, and then after that it's going to be everything. So just prepare yourself. If you've not seen it, go away, come back, watch this. We're going to start with general thoughts, and then we're going to move on to what we liked, what we didn't like, and then give it a rating out of 5 stars, maybe. So yeah, that's going to be the review. So who wants to start? Do you want to start with the negative?
Do you want to start negative or positive?
Yeah, go on, Matt. Seeing as you like every film.
Most of them. I've already mentioned what I don't like, so you probably know that already. But yeah, general review. I think out of all the Jurassic Worlds, it's probably the most Jurassic Parky in a good way, I suppose, if you know what I mean. Like, it's more scarier in like a Jurassic Park way, I would say, which I enjoyed. I liked that there was a couple of different characters in there that you've not really had in a Jurassic Park film before, which I liked, or a Jurassic World film. I thought some of the set pieces were good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed some of the characters, even though some of the dialogue was a bit. What else did I enjoy? I enjoyed. I think I liked some of the dinosaur designs. They were quite interesting, even though they were kind of like freaks. But I did like that, and I thought that it was a step in the right direction. I think when it comes to Jurassic Worlds. So yeah, that's me. What about you guys? You negative Nellies?
I wouldn't say negative.
Honest?
I say critical.
Okay.
Found it to be. It was an okay watch. It had some good sequences throughout, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed the cast. Thought it was a very decent cast, and we'll discuss them a little bit further down the line. I thought the cinematography was actually really good. Not just the camera angles and things like that. I think the way that the color of the whole film was quite good as well. It did have some good scare moments, as you'd mentioned, which all previous Jurassic films have had. However, I don't know. I left the cinema feeling it wasn't quite. I just didn't have the same feeling that I get when I watch other Jurassic films.
Not like any of them.
The sort of a feel. No, Dominion was the same, and Fallen Kingdom to an extent. But when you look at the first three and the first Jurassic World, every time I watch them, I get this just I don't know, this feeling, and I just didn't get it from this one. Like you see the dinosaur on the screen, you're like, ooh, dinosaurs and stuff, and I didn't get it from this one. But there were bits that I enjoyed. JJ?
I mean, I'd say I'm in agreement. There was, like I said, it was a nice looking film. Some of the designs of the dinosaurs were a bit, iffy. I feel like my main criticism, after a couple of days of thinking about it, is I wish there was more. Like I said in the at the cinema review, that it was very much the McDonald's of a Jurassic film. Like it didn't fill me up. I wanted more. Like I could have, gone home and had a Jurassic Park 1 Sunday dinner, and it would have filled me up. Jurassic Park has everything. It has the jackets, it has the mash, it has everything in there. Anything you could want. I just feel like aside from some of the scenes that, you know, like the acting was all right for the most part, but then there was some scenes that were a bit like, why did they put this in? But overall, it was good. I don't regret watching it, but it's one that if I'd have watched it legally at home, then I probably would have enjoyed it more. You know what I mean? Like some films, it's like, oh, I wish I'd have seen that in cinema. This was like, I'm glad I did see it, but I wouldn't have minded if I hadn't have paid for this.
Yeah.
Shall we start off with going more detail into things we did like? Like obviously, Lewis, you said you liked the cinematography and stuff. So should we talk about positives?
Yeah.
What was it in particular that stood out to you? Do you think?
I think the way that the way that it was shot, it had some interesting camera angles. Like I say, that it's quite a bright film compared to some of the more recent Jurassic Park films, which has all been very, very dark and in terms of lighting and things like that. But this was very bright. You know, there's quite a lot of colour to it.
I mean, even in the night scenes, you know, like it was still quite bright. Like it was a good contrast.
Yeah.
Stuff with like, you know, the flares and fires and stuff like that, and
they worked rather well, didn't they? You know, the D-Rex when you sort of hinted at it in the opening sequence, and that it's all the red lighting in that room and the smoke and things like that. It made it very atmospheric the way they'd shot it, but it wasn't that you couldn't actually see what was going on. It was still lit really well, and
even I feel like a lot of films fall into that these days, where, you know, I watch it sometimes, especially if you've got HDR on and it's got the blacks, and you just sat going,
yeah,
what's going on?
Whereas with this, you
didn't hear noises.
Yeah. So I thought the cinematography in it was very good. It was definitely one of the positives to it. It's not all negative, Matt.
Yeah. I'd say that obviously I think if we go first with our positives, because we're quite critical of it, and then Matt can reel off everything else. I'd say, yeah, that the way that it was shot was really nice. I think the characters were quite likable, because with the last Jurassic World films, I feel like you were meant to be rooting for them, but I didn't actually like Bryce Dallas Howard's character. Like, she was a bit of a dick in the first film, and then the rest, you know, like when she's always arguing with him. And then I didn't like him either. Like, Chris Pratt's character came off as a bit of a dick as well. So they weren't, you know, Chris Pratt's really likable just in general, but his character, it was just like, oh, you're so full of yourself. But these characters were quite likable.
Yeah, you didn't find yourself rooting for Owen and Claire as much as you did the original trio, whereas was it Zora, Duncan, and Henry, the main three that you sort of follow outside of the family, you did kind of find yourself rooting for them. I think the character of Duncan especially, you get that little moment third of the way through, where he's like, "Oh, I don't want to die in a jungle," and you think, "Oh, that's it. He said that. It's going to happen." And then when you get towards the end of the film, like you say, you've got that brilliant scene where he's there with the flare, which is a nice callback to the original Jurassic Park with the T-Rex, but he's doing it with the T-Rex, and you think, "Oh, bugger, that's it. He's dead now." And then obviously, you know, he reappears towards the end, and you actually find. I mean, I found myself, relieved that he survived, because I actually liked his character. I think the way that Mahershala Ali played him was really good.
He's just a dead charismatic. He's just a dead charismatic actor, though, isn't he, Mahershala? You like instantly, like, kind of like him. I don't know.
But he's made his character likable. Scarlett Johansson's character Zora was likable to an extent. I say Dr. Loomis again was a likable character. So
yeah, they were all quite like I found the boyfriend. I didn't like him at the start. I thought, oh my god, he's so just and then as the film went on, it was like, yeah, he's the comedic relief, and actually I've warmed to him now. And
he was the comic relief. He was his first opening exchange with the father-in-law type guy. I was just like, please be eaten, because he just really annoyed me. But like you say, he's there as the comic relief, and he gets a little bit of a redemption arc as the film goes on, doesn't he? So, I was still disappointed he didn't get eaten in the end, but that's just me.
The fact that the bad guy died, that was satisfying. I mean, I know it always
they always
happens,
die, don't they? It'd been more original if he hadn't have died. Can you imagine? Got away with it. And like got away. Yeah, that never happens in a Jurassic film, does it? Like the bad guy wins.
No.
That could have led to a sequel. Yeah, see.
Well, this is the start of a new trilogy, apparently. So.
Yeah, but I did leave it.
It's always a trilogy.
I did leave the cinema thinking, like, what are they going to do next? Though, like, what could you realistically do with this original? Like next, what could you do?
On the Matt, show us. Yeah, what have you got, Matt? Remember, we haven't got as long this time.
Positives. I liked. I don't know. I just like the feel of it. Really, I just thought it was quite, because I like that it was a bit more creepy. You know, like there was. I found myself actually feeling like tense in some of the scenes. You know what I mean? I hadn't really felt that in any of the other Jurassic Worlds, really. It just felt like a blockbuster film. But, you know, if we're getting super spoilery now anyway, you know, like the T-Rex raft scene.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that. You know, it built and built and built, didn't it? It was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get the thing for my dad so we can go in the boat. And then it was over there. And then there was the Dilophosaurus. And then that ran off. And then she went in the thing and pulled the boat out. And then she saw there's a mad T-Rex there. And she was, for some unknown reason, decided to open the boat right where there was a T-Rex, which was a bit inexplicable. And then it disappeared, and we're like, woohoo, yeah, it's gone. And then it was just, you saw it in the water, and then they all got knocked off, and then it just like escalated, and I was like, I just felt like it was quite.
The scene when it's biting down, and you can see its teeth through the raft. That was very reminiscent of the first one with the kids in the car. And
it did remind me of that scene. You know how it builds and builds and builds, and it gets worse and worse, like as the scene goes on, and then they end up going off the edge of the thing and stuff. It was good.
I enjoyed that scene. I thought it was a really good sequence. You mentioned in the cinema reaction as well about the water sequences. I actually enjoyed the boat sequence with the mosasaur and the spinosauruses as well.
Oh, the one.
I thought that was quite, as they're getting to the island.
Yeah. When they've after they rescued the family and they're on the boat.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good sequence as well.
That guy didn't last long, did he? The guy
he died as well.
Yeah, that's in things and never survives.
Yeah,
it lasted about as. I was just about to say, it lasted about as long with the Khaleesi.
Yeah, and then they got recast. But I know I thought it was a really good sequence because you were seeing the Spinosauruses, especially sort of in their habitat that they would have been in real life, which in Jurassic Park 3 you never really saw that.
Is that you know in the Lost World as well, when the boat arrives with everyone's dead? Is that like hinting at that it was them that killed everybody? Then do you think? Like not directly, but like, you know, because everyone on the boat, when the T-Rex came on the boat in Lost World, and everyone on the boat was dead, and they didn't know how it had happened. Was that supposed to have been like Spinosauruses? Do you reckon?
No, it was supposed to be raptors. There was a deleted scene.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Raptors, and then it got quite.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know that. That's cool.
Right. But no, I enjoyed the mosasaur sequence and then the T-Rex sequence, and I also enjoyed the bit where they see the Titanosauruses in the valley.
It was very reminiscent of the first film when they come across the the other giant theropods.
Like you said, Lewis, about the dinosaurs thing. That was one of the scenes that was like dinosaurs, wasn't it? Really, you know, like when you're like enjoying the wonder of like seeing them, kind of thing.
Yeah, those are the three sequences that did give me sort of that. Oh, this is a Jurassic Park film.
Yeah.
Those sort of three instances, and then so you got some nice little Easter eggs as well, didn't you? Obviously, in that opening section scene where they're introducing the characters and they go to the museum and the exhibition is being taken down, and you get the banner from the first film sort of falls behind the T-Rex skeleton. That was enjoyable. The scene at the petrol station at the end echoes the scene with the Velociraptors in the kitchen. So there was some very nice callbacks to certainly the original film, and then obviously a few of the other ones. So there are bits that I like, man. There are bits.
Yeah, there's a lot of good little bits in it. I like it. Did you like the goofy boyfriend fake out death thing as well when he went for a pee? I enjoyed that. You know, he goes into the jungle on his own, and you're like, oh, he's going to die.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that was where he's going to get it, and obviously the Velociraptors, the only scene where there was any Velociraptors in the film, sneaking up behind him and thinking, oh, yes, it's all, this is going to be a bit like the clever girls bit, but then the stupid Mutadon thing just sort of swoops down and eats them and takes them away. And
I was hoping. I said to you, didn't I, Matt? I was hoping it was going to be afterwards when he survived. I thought he was going to turn around or like, oh, well, at least I don't need to go for a poo now. I've gone number 2 as well. Or when he goes back to the camp, they'll be like, oh, did you enjoy your piss? And he'd be like, yeah, I did both.
But yeah, what else did I like? But yeah, I like you said, I like Mahershala Ali's characters and Scarlett Johansson's. I think they're just quite a good, because you know, like the mercenaries and stuff in Jurassic World are usually like kind of like adversarial kind of characters, aren't they, and stuff, and the kind of ones you don't root for. But I like that they brought them in as kind of like lovable rogue kind of characters. I like that. Was good. And Loomis is obviously kind of taking the kind of Alan Granty kind of role into, which is nice.
No, he mentions that he studied under him, didn't he?
Yeah, I like that little hint. That was quite cool. But
also, as you're just mentioning, Dr. Henry Loomis, I saw in your cinema reaction as well. You mentioned is his name a nod to Dr. Henry Jones?
Is Indiana Jones' name Henry? It's not.
It is Henry, but he's not been given that name as a nod to Indiana Jones.
Why?
Think of the surname Loomis.
Yeah, I know Loomis.
It's a nod. Halloween.
Harry Potter.
But can it not be a nod? Can it not be a nod? Can it not be a nod to both? No.
No, they've specifically said it's a nod to Halloween.
Did they? But that's a bit random. That's a bit random, isn't it? Halloween's got nothing to do with adventure films. That's
scary. Does Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones is literally an adventure film, which is Jurassic World is. Yeah, it's like an adventure.
You mentioned it in the other one, and you're like,
there's literally a shot that looks like an Indiana Jones film. You know when he holds the egg up in the light? That looks like Indy holding the thing up in the temple. Like he's literally like a nod.
But his first name might be a nod to.
I think it's got to be, surely, with Steven Spielberg being like a.
They've specifically put that surname in there because they were having the nod to Halloween.
Okay. But it's not that scary. It's not that scary. But,
no.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed all the set pieces as well. They were good. Like all the, like the bit getting the egg and the obviously the T-Rex and the kitchen. Not the kitchen.
I did notice, which if you two haven't noticed, might irritate you next time you watch it. There was a continuity error.
Oh.
I noticed it in the thing, but I didn't want to say anything.
Oh.
You know when he goes and he injects it into the egg and he obviously draws it out. It is white because it's the yolk.
Yeah.
Then when he goes and puts it in the case, it's red.
Oh. Interesting. Ha! I didn't notice that.
I know. As soon as I saw it, because he obviously pulled it out and it's very clear that it's like yolk, it's white. And then I see he goes over and opens a suitcase and slots it in and it's red like blood. And I was like, but there wasn't any blood. It was like, yeah.
I'll have to check that. I didn't pick up on that. Okay. Should we move on to the bit that Matt doesn't want to talk about?
Yes.
The bits we don't like. Matt, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like what me and JJ mentioned in the theatre one, you know, all the exposition dialogue. It's like exposition, where they're just talking. They're basically just telling you things at you rather than you seeing it or like figuring it out for yourself. Like when they're sat on the boat talking to each other. What's the
For
name?
5 minutes.
Yeah, like Duncan and is it Zora, whatever her name is. They're just basically just telling you their backstory. Oh yeah, well this happened. And my friend died, and then my son died. Oh yeah, we should feel sorry for each other, shouldn't we? Yeah, we should. It's very, very sad. Like they're just telling you why we should empathise with the characters, rather than like showing you things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
It's just kind of.
Wasn't the best way of divulging their backstory, was it?
Yeah, and then basically laying out the plot of the whole film as well. We've got to go here and get this, and then we've got to go here and get this, and then we've got to go here and get this, and that's how it was going to play out in the film.
And they did that exactly to the T.
And went home. That was it. So like there was no. It's quite funny. But the writing was a bit. That's one thing I did like.
As I said before, it was very linear. Like there wasn't many surprises like that. I thought, whoa, I can't believe that happened. Like I can't even think of anything that I didn't know was going to happen because like you said, they'd laid it out. Like we're going to do this, this, and this. Do this, go home. The only thing was that with the helicopter.
Oh yeah, I like that bit. That's quite good.
But it was kind of like, oh well, I did kind of expect it not to go smoothly.
But then they'd already pointed out the other thing they could do anyway, because they were like, oh, there's a boat. And they're like, oh, the helicopter's here. Oh, the helicopter's gone. But we've still got the boat. It's fine. So they'd already laid out what else they could do anyway.
Let's get to the boat. It's fine.
Yeah. That wasn't fun, but.
I'm still cooking.
And
I've got cheese.
Is it time to cheese the pasta bake?
It will be soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean,
I just thought of something. It's gone now.
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was just because I felt like I was so excited for it to be a Jurassic film that I think my main thing is, after thinking about it, the lore. There was no lore drop. It was, there's this base that they started making stuff. And then they showed you the first scene where the D-Rex escapes with the Snickers bar. And then that was it. They didn't go...
Gonna get onto that.
They didn't go, we get here. And, if they, like, went into the computer or something, when they went back and it was all dilapidated and whatever. That was like a 2-3 minute scene. And then they left again. They could have, like, if you went into the database and came up and showed you the D-Rex, showed you what was combined to make it or why it was thingy, or like a little video clip on the console of someone making it and talking about it or something. It was just, here's this weird beluga whale T-Rex.
Could have had a Doctor Wu cameo.
With extra arms. Exactly. Or just anything. But it's just like, here's these, you basically saw 2 weird hybrids, which I didn't realize until the scene in the gas station, that the weird flying thing was I didn't know that it was meant to be like a raptor hybrid until you saw the claw, because they didn't explain it. You only saw it when it swooped down and grabbed the other raptor, and then when it was walking around the gas station, I was like, it's a weird like flying pteranodon mix. And then when you saw and it's like, you've got flying raptors. Why are you not talking about this? And they didn't even mention it in a passing comment of, oh my God, it's a flying raptor or something. They just were like, oh, it's scary. Let's hide in here. They didn't mention it once. So that's my main thing. There wasn't lore. You've given us this cool new island that's like meant to be the original place that they did stuff, and then never talked about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It kind of feeds into mine as well. That you say that these mutant hybrid dinosaurs, the mutodons, which is the name for the flying raptors, and then you've got the D-Rex or distortion Rex or whatever it's called. One, they look ridiculous. The raptor one just had like this big flappy jowl thing.
Fluffy.
It was like, oh, we've got this raptor that we're going to give wings, but then we're going to give it a boss nass chin. And then there's the D-Rex, which I know Gareth Edwards has said in interviews. Obviously, it's a failed clone. It must be like one of the original failed clones to get to the T-Rex. So they wanted it to look like it wasn't particularly great. So it's crossed between a T-Rex, a xenomorph, and a rancor, and then they've given it a beluga whale head for echolocation for some reason.
Which it never uses in the film.
Never uses, no. They look ridiculous. This is the fourth one now where they've had some kind of hybrid dinosaur. So to me, it's getting old. They need something changing there.
Yeah.
You look through the promotional stuff for it, and they make this big thing about the D-Rex as well, and it's in it for all of 10 minutes.
I said that as well.
Was disappointing.
Because I thought it was going to hunt them throughout the whole film.
Yeah,
like the Spinosaurus from number 3. I thought that was, they run into it early and then it hunts them at night or something. Yeah. But then no, it just shows up. They flare it and then that's it.
Yeah.
Where did it even go?
Just roaming around the island, didn't it?
Just like it went after him with the flare, and then I don't know, he threw the flare away, and it was like, oh, flare, tasty, and then that was it. It's gone.
And then the other thing that really, because obviously you got that opening sequence that specifies it's 17 years earlier, so it would have been 2008 when that first opening sequence takes place. Depending on you go into the backlog and the lore and things like that. Jurassic World itself apparently opened in 2005 in universe. So after 3 years of it being open, and then obviously they start creating hybrids and things like that, it all goes wrong. Everything from Jurassic World onwards, everything goes wrong, all because of a Snickers wrapper. If it doesn't go into that little vent and breaks the door, then that whole research facility then doesn't get moved to the main island of Isla Nublar, and then Jurassic World doesn't collapse because they wouldn't have developed the Indominus Rex on the island. It would have been done on this one. So they've just like turned around and gone, all right, we're going to explain why everything falls apart and give it a ridiculous thing. Oh, it's come from a Snickers wrapper, and it just.
Like, I was thinking, when I saw him eating the Snickers, I thought, is it going to be something like that because he's eating the Snickers, the D-Rex like goes a bit mental because it wants the food or something? And then it's like, oh, the wrapper, like Final Destination, like you said, man.
Yeah.
It just goes into the door, and I was like, are you serious?
And then from there on in, everything that happens from Jurassic World onwards is all because of that Snickers bar.
These damn Snickers.
Yeah.
But if that was a proper containment facility, you're telling me they'd let people walk around eating?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
No chance.
But the main thing, and I think this is what made me feel like it wasn't a full-blown Jurassic Park / Jurassic World film, and that was the musical score.
Yeah, it was a bit devoid.
Yeah, you got the main theme that creeps in occasionally, and then obviously it's at the end. But the rest of the score for the film just didn't feel like it was supposed to be in a Jurassic Park film.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember much of the music, to be fair.
Exactly. I feel like it's quite devoid of music.
The first ones are done by John Williams, and then from obviously Jurassic World onwards, it's done by. Just bear with me because I do struggle with his name. It's his surname.
Giacchino, no?
Michael Giacchino.
Yeah, something like that.
His score for the Jurassic World trilogy echoes John Williams really, really well. And then for this film, they've gone and got a different composer to do the score, and it just didn't feel right. And it just I don't know. You occasionally get the odd nod with the theme, but other than that, I think that's one of the main reasons why I walked out feeling it's not right, because it just didn't have the correct musical score.
I mean, I feel like what they need to do, which I've said this before about, like I said it in the other review, like with Terminator, they just need to go back, make it horror. It feels like because they try and please everyone, they're pleasing no one. Like if they just went full horror, then they could not even go for the old score. They could go for something new, completely new, something quite dark, like music wise. Complement like a new dark tone and have it pure horror. Because imagine being, they're constantly being chased by dinosaurs, T-Rexes, everything's trying to eat you and kill you and hunt you. They had literally a horror, it was like Alien. Why didn't they make it like the first Alien film? Have this horrible creature that's massive that you can't stop, that's constantly can find you Predator style using echolocation and whatever, and then they made it a action / bit scarier kind of film. One foot in the grave.
On the musical score as well, just a little bit of trivia for you. Jonathan Bailey helped in the music score himself. He's
in the scene that the Titanosaur. He did. I saw that. Yeah, that's quite cool.
Nice little bit of trivia for you. But yeah, I think that's what the main thing that got me was the music just wasn't right. And obviously it just focuses too much on the mutant hybrids instead of the other dinosaurs.
Yeah, like they say it in the other Jurassic World. They're like, they got bored of the dinosaurs. They weren't enough. They weren't scary enough. They needed more teeth and all stuff. It's like, no, the dinosaurs are scary if you make them scary.
Yeah.
Like, think of every horror film that's got just a guy in it. Like, if you just saw a random person on the street, you're not like, oh my God, he's horrifying. But then if you put them in the situation where they are a psycho or they're, doing all this crazy stuff and the atmosphere's there, it doesn't matter how many teeth the dinosaur have, it's what they do with the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did kind of sell it as like, ooh, like this is where all the crazy, freaky dinosaurs are, but they didn't really use them, did they?
No.
Not in as scarier way as they could, really.
I feel like there wasn't that many dinosaurs in it. Like, I don't know if someone works out the dinosaur airtime or whatever screen time that they get, but it didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like I saw many dinosaurs.
I think that's the other reason why it didn't feel like a Jurassic film to me, because, like you say, they are limited. Or if you think about the other ones, they're not always on screen in the other films, but when they're not on screen, the characters, like you say, they're discussing them, they're talking about, they're delving into the background, the lore of them. Whereas this one's talking about, say, oh, I don't want to die in a jungle, or the backstory stuff, or the family that's on the boat that capsizes. She's going off to university, and I don't like your boyfriend type thing. And
so I would not be thinking about that if I was being hunted by dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're going through the forest, jungle, I don't know, I felt like they had pretty easy time. They got away from the Spinosaurus, and then they just kind of were like walking and talking, and then they had that weird worm thing. I said to you, Matt, I thought it was a leech, like a giant prehistoric leech. And that was it. It was just there, and it was like, oh, something's touched my leg, and then you see it, and that's it.
Yeah, it could have been stalking them, like the raptors in the long grass in the Lost World, or
Hmm.
the Indominus Rex with its camouflaging technique, how it stalked people in the jungle and things like that. But there was none of that, was there? Really?
I thought they missed a trick with the
Yeah, I feel like
research,
No, go on,
the research facility thing as well. I feel like like they could have had something in one of the test tube things, like escape or something, couldn't they? And like hunted them through like the facility or something like that. It would have been exciting.
You see that that was in like the promotional stuff. It was like in the test tube, it was the two-headed raptor.
Yeah.
Or the two-headed Triceratops. If one of those two-headed raptors had broken out,
yeah,
and started chasing them through the facility, you would have added a bit more tension, and probably would have felt a bit more like a Jurassic Park film, even though it was like a mutant raptor at that point. But that's what you would have expected it to happen. But it doesn't.
Yeah, I feel like like we were saying, where it didn't feel like they were there, and it's like the other films. Well, the first couple of Jurassic Park films, even if they weren't on screen, because I think in the first one the dinosaurs were only on screen for a total of like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah,
because of the CGI budget, and they couldn't do it. But you knew they were there. Like, they'd look out and then you'd just see like a bush rustle or something, and you'd be like, they're out there, and you felt they were there. Even like Alien, the first Alien film, it's not on screen a lot, but the tension of knowing it's in the rafters or it's hiding somewhere. You don't have to have it on screen, but to know that it's there.
Yeah.
Where I didn't feel that in this, it was like, oh, we've had a scene with the dinosaurs. Okay, that's it now. They're not a danger now.
Yeah. Is that enough negativity for you, Matt?
I don't know. I think there was, like in the original as well, there was a lot of talk about, like, kind of, what is it? Is it Jeff Goldblum who says something about, or is it? I can't remember. What's the name? He says it's like a. Is it like a raping of the natural world or something? He says it like dead brutally, doesn't he? What does he say in the first one? Something like that. Like, there's not much. There's not much talk about like
consequences of it.
Yeah,
the ethics. Of
this not really. There's like a little bit with Jonathan Bailey's character and the slimy like pharmaceutical guy, where they're talking about, oh yeah, well we're like the smartest like creatures on the earth, aren't we? And he says like, well, historically being smart hasn't been like a good thing, because like obviously dinosaurs were dumb and they lasted for millions of years, whereas we're smartest and we're lucky if we're going to last like 3,000 years. So, but I like that little nod to nature and stuff, and talking about like, human beings.
Impending doom.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I did like that because it kind of points to more of like the sci-fi nature of Jurassic World and stuff, but you don't really get much of that in the Jurassic World films. But
I suppose you get briefly as well with the whole. He uses the ethics side of things when it comes to the DNA that they're collecting. It should go to the whole planet instead of to a big pharmaceutical company. Yeah, he's sort of saying that they're exploiting nature for profit, which is sort of what happens in the real world anyway. So you get it a little bit, but not as much as to what.
Yeah, there's not as much like philosophical debate in it, is there? Do you think they'll leave it to the next one to bring in a Ian Malcolm substitute? Will there be a philosopher in the next one? Maybe, don't know.
Maybe they'll clone him.
Yeah, he'll be the first.
Or they'll bring a hybrid.
Yeah, he'll be the first human dinosaur hybrid. Yeah.
No, they'll hybridize Jeff Goldblum.
Sam Neill.
Like, yeah, just put them together.
It'll be like the flat all over again.
Brings us nicely onto sort of the franchise as a whole, and where we might see it going.
Yeah.
Moving forward, that really, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Because, like I say, I'm fairly sure this is supposed to be the start of a new trilogy.
I'm trying to think where they went. where they've been with the second one of all the other trilogies.
I can't see how they're going to make it into another trilogy, because they've specifically stated in this early on in the film that the dinosaurs around the planet are slowly dying off. They're only surviving around the equator, where it's warm and tropical and there's more oxygen. So unless they're going to bring Dr. Wu back out and he's going to give them all a new, I don't know, splice some new genes into them, I mean, they can live in the Arctic or they can live in the mountains or something like that. I just don't see how they're going to get another 2 films out of it when it's already now been specified that most of the dinosaurs are dying.
What they should have done is made it a prequel and done prequel trilogy and just done like, because there was loads of stuff I've seen people online saying, like, oh, why don't they do it from a different perspective of the night that the storm came and caused all the chaos that night, with follow the workers that were on the island.
Oh, in the original.
Yeah.
Part. I suppose.
And they can bring it back to the roots, keep it, have it dark, and they're being hunted by, raptors and whatever else on the island, and do it from a different angle, because they've gone strayed so far away. It's so far in the future now. It's like, just bring it back.
You could even get somebody in that looks like a slightly younger Richard Attenborough, and like you say, you could do it as a prequel as to how he's building up to Jurassic Park. He's finding these fossils, finding this DNA, bringing his team in. You could then see the earlier development of these dinosaurs on that island that this one's set on. You could have done it that way, I suppose. I mean, they might still be able to, maybe, but it'd then be a bit weird having a prequel in the middle of a trilogy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I just don't see how they're going to move it forward.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about you, Matt? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what was laid out in this film to see if there's anything they could spin off of it.
I don't know, there wasn't anything. They literally got to the end, like, what we're going to do with the DNA, and Scarlett Johansson goes, we'll give it to everyone. And that was it.
We were waiting.
Flew off in the helicopter, and that was it. There was no... you did. The only thing they could probably do is, well, what happens with the D-Rex? It's just left alive on the island.
Yeah, they'd have to go back to the island for someone to hunt it, for whatever reason, and then explain stuff about, they probably, and what they do is they turn it into a tragic thing where it's like, we feel sorry for the D-Rex, and it looks all sad when they're about to shoot it or stab it or something, and it will.
Could they do the thing like they did in The Lost World? You know how if people go to the island to get the dinosaurs to put them in a different park? Could they do that, but with this now being discovered that the dinosaur DNA can be used for pharmaceutical reasons? Could there be like another company coming to try and get more dinosaurs to do what they want to do with the DNA? You know what I mean? And like they have to go and stop them, or I don't know.
You'd have people
going into... But then it would be this film again.
Yeah,
it'd just be the same film.
That's what rehashing, just on a bigger scale.
That's what the Lost World Jurassic Park is, isn't it? It's basically the same, but like in a different island.
So. There's another island, guys.
Lost World was on Site B on Isla Sorna.
Yeah.
And that's where they sort of bred them to then move them to the original park, and then obviously they wanted to take them to San Diego, but I don't know.
San Diego.
I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I really don't.
It's either that or the dinosaurs figure out how to... Or some of them somehow manage to survive not at the equator. I don't know.
Even though maybe there's a game, there's a new Jurassic Park game out recently. Where, you can... It's pretty much like what JJ said, actually. You you're like a lone survivor on the island, and you're being hunted by these dinosaurs. It's sort of like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Totally
Oh,
Oh, is it Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Survivor, or whatever it is?
something like that, yeah. And I think it can be done on VR, so maybe they could look at doing that as just like a film, maybe. It'd be like Jurassic Park with hints of the Blair Witch type thing. I don't know.
Well, have you ever seen the?
You can go down the proper horror route side of things for it. You can make it like as the Americans call it, an R-rated film. You get lots of gore and violence in it, and
Oh God, no! You can't do that with dinosaurs. You know, the things that kill and eat other things for millions of years.
apparently, I don't know if this is just something I randomly heard online or whatnot, but or if it is genuinely true. But so the scene with in the Titanosaurus Valley where the Titanosaurs are lovingly nuzzling each other and whatnot, and you get that all. Apparently, originally the idea was
Excuse me.
to be a dinosaur sex scene. So if you can't have dinosaurs violently ripping people apart, but they were planning on doing that.
Saw a hilarious thing on Facebook the other day. I don't know if it was accurate, but apparently like 51% of Americans or something thought that humans and dinosaurs lived on the planet simultaneously.
Yeah. Those are people. I don't want us to get cancelled for me saying that, but those people are the religious nuts that believe that the dinosaurs were put there by God to test us.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it says so in a book. Wait, hang on. Isn't Jurassic Park a book? It's real.
Ah.
I knew it.
Yeah, not sure what the future holds for the franchise, but we'll see. Do you think any of the characters will return if they carried on? Who are our new main characters?
I think Jonathan bring through.
Are they the new three characters? Do you reckon that will return?
Yeah, I think if they're doing it as a trilogy, then you'll definitely get those three back because they've all survived.
Yeah.
We'll have to see about Scarlett Johansson because there was something I saw the other day. She got a bit of flack because what's his name? The guy who plays the Doctor,
Jonathan Bailey.
Yeah, apparently he's gay, and she was kissing him at one of the actually on the mouth, like mouth kissing him at one of the premieres, and obviously she's got a husband.
All right.
So people were a bit like, "That's awkward." So maybe she might get some flack, but we'll see. She's America's sweetheart, so.
Well, she's wanted to be in it. She's wanted to be in it for years, so I'm assuming she'll come back. To be honest, she's wanted to be in a Jurassic Park film.
She's a big fan, so she's not. They're not going to cast her out just because of that.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
But yeah. But I think I know. Obviously, I'm more positive than you guys, but I think, like I think JJ said, I think it's definitely the best of the Jurassic World films so far. So hopefully, it'll mean that things are going to go in a better direction in the future.
What rating would you give it then? If we're going with 5 stars, what would you give it?
3, maybe 3.5, maybe. What would you guys say?
I'd go for a solid. I'd go for a solid 3.
Yeah.
Well, I'll watch it again, but it's not a. I mean, you've made it awkward because I gave it a 5 out of 10. And then 5 is like.
Now you're changing it.
2.5
It's
stars.
too harsh. That's too harsh. That's too harsh. There's not enough increments. There's not enough increments in 5. 10, you can go quite on the scale, but 5. If I go 2.5, that's way too low. I'll give it a 3.
Really? Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay.
You, Lewis.
He's going to make me look like a bad guy now because I was going to say 2.5 because that's bang average on the 5 scale.
Boo.
That's just because, like I said, I came out of it. It just did not give me the same warm feeling that I get from some of the other Jurassic Park films.
Why do you get such a warm feeling there? I'm a bit. What gives you the warm feeling by the end?
I don't know. I just enjoyed them. I don't know. The whole, you see big dinosaur on the movie screen. You got a nice musical score that goes with it. Characters that you can enjoy, and I don't know. There's bits missing to this.
Have you felt like that for the past few? It's not just this one that made you feel that way.
I kind of felt, I felt a bit like that with Dominion. This was definitely better than Dominion. By the way, and I'd probably say it's level with Fallen Kingdom. I think the plots were really poor with those two.
What, Dominion's level with Fallen Kingdom?
No, Dominion's definitely like the worst of them.
Okay. So this is level. This is level with Fallen.
So this Rebirth is probably level with Fallen Kingdom.
Oh. Okay.
Why do you think that's worse?
Why did you not like Fallen Kingdom?
It's all right.
2.5.
I didn't mind the
first. It was all right up until the point where they got into the mansion at the end, and they just just auctioning off the dinosaurs, and they just sort of went with it.
Is that the one with the clone girl in it?
Yeah, that's when she's first introduced.
Yeah.
They never went back to it again.
Well, she's in Dominion, isn't she? No?
Yeah, they focus more on the whole. They bring back Lewis Dodson, who's has a 2-minute scene in the first film, and make him the overall villain, and it's all about these mutant locusts and things like that. And again, it has very little to do with dinosaurs.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Which is why it's the worst of the Jurassic films. But if you're going out of 5, I'd give it 2.5 because it's bang sort of in the middle. It's watchable, but it's not the best.
I agree.
Okay.
Even though you gave it a 3 5 minutes ago.
I told you I couldn't be that harsh. I'm not as harsh as you.
I'm surprised Matt's not giving it anything less than a 4.
No, 3. Well, 3 and a bit.
He changes his mind now.
3 and a bit. Oh yeah.
3 and a bit.
Yeah. I said nothing in the past 10 years is Love and Thunder. My God. I mean, I suppose I don't watch that many films in comparison to how many films there are, but that film's awful. God. I think it was just the humour just didn't make sense in it, but it's too much. But yeah, this film definitely isn't as bad as that film. But yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's our full review, isn't it? I think, guys. To be fair, we said everything we need to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a mixed bag of opinions there, I think, to be fair. Well, mainly on my side, but still. Apparently it's doing all right box office wise, so.
Well, it always will. But
yeah. I guess that bodes well for the future, but hopefully. I wonder if Gareth Edwards would come back. But no,
I think it's just let us write it.
That was right.
If you watch this, guys, just get me on it. I'll come do the prequels for you.
Yeah, bring us in.
Yeah, I do think if you did a video game style first person shootery kind of Jurassic World film, that'd be quite cool. You're just following one person. That'd be quite cool.
Hopefully, just not as bad as the Doom film that they did.
Why is that bad? When
they actually did that? Have you seen that, Matt? With Dwayne Johnson?
What is it? First person?
Yeah, a load of it. It's they've got a whole scene in it. It's a whole 5-minute scene where it's first person.
Oh God!
And just the rest of the film, just no.
Is it bad? Is it? Okay.
Avoid that then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's your lot, guys. We hope you've enjoyed our full review of Jurassic World Rebirth. Let us know in the comments if you agree with us, disagree with us. Let us know what you would rate it out of 5. Would you do it 2.5? Would you do it 5 out of 5? Let us know. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share this video if you've enjoyed what you've watched. And I think our next one will probably be the Man of Steel himself, Superman, I think, which comes out this weekend. So keep an eye out for our Out of the Theatres and reviews on that. Ciao for now.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.